Wow. All right. Hey, I'm sort of nope. I'm late. I'm a minute 8 seconds late. Welcome to Eight Questions with the Thursday edition. It's the last show of the week, I do believe. And welcome to Eight Questions with. I'm your host, Patrick. I have Cheetah Will View. Yeah, this is the last one of the week. So I know some of you guys, though you guys seen down below, it clearly says Franklin Correa. I know some of you folks are expecting Jennifer Nangle will be here, and she will be here, but she won't be here till the 18th of April. So our good friend Franklin has come in and helped us out to do the show. So that's a good thing. He is a filmmaker. He specializes in no budget to micro budget films. So anywhere between zero money to 10,000. I think zero. I think he said it was $0 to $10,000. It's no money. Over $10,000, it's a micro budget. Um, yeah. So I can't imagine making any. I can't imagine. There's no such thing as a no money film because you got to buy the equipment and whatnot. But I guess he makes some. I don't know what that includes. This is the first time I've actually interviewed someone who makes films with no money. Or oh, I take that back. Brett Kelly did make Ouija Shark for $220. So we'll see if Franklin has made a movie for less than $220. I doubt it, but you never know. Uh, so uh, so Franklin will be here with us in about 10 minutes or so, and I just want to say thank you again for the great show we had yesterday with with Tasha Tokosa, wonderful actress, really sweet lady. Had a lot of fun talking to her, and that interview was up and running. I will end up finishing fleshing it out, putting all the details out after this show, and then you guys can go check out her socials and her different sites, her movie database page, which does help when you click on it. It does help her. Helps any artist that It's one of the reasons why we list their movie database page. Is one, not only to let you know what they're working on, but two, when you click on their page, it does help their page. They get credits for that. It helps their star meter, which means, like, hey, people are interested in this person. You and me, we're interested in her. So when we click on her page, it helps. It raises her awareness, her footprint, so to speak. So that's one of the reasons why we always put the movie database page, to just not say, hey, you can check out her work on there or their work on there. We give you a link so you guys can go over there and click on it. That's very much the same thing as we do here on the tube. We ask you to, hit the thumbs, the like, and the notification bell, and subscribe, and all that. Think of the International Movie Database as an actor's YouTube, and then you can get it. The only thing they don't do is that they don't give you an option to follow a certain actor or director or producer. Like, you can't follow them like on Facebook or Instagram or here, but it still helps. So any chance, every time you guys do watch one of these interviews, please, if you do anything else, if you don't leave a comment, though, that we really want comments. I mean, if you like what you're hearing or watching, it really does help. It helps me, and it helps the artist. So if you guys could do that, and any and all videos that you watch of Eight Questions with, that would be awesome. Really would help the artist and myself. And it guarantees more. It guarantees more cameos by the Cheetah, which he's up and running around. So rest assured, he will be making an appearance again tonight. So I will talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen in May. May is going to be, I'm going to do another theme month, uh, much like I did with Women in Horror Month in March. I decided to do in May, I decided to do another theme month, and I'm going to be interviewing members of the YouTube community, people who are, I think are going to be fun to talk to, get to know, and speaking of that, in comes one of those very guests, David. That's right. David will be one of the YouTube members here, one of our friends, our good friends. He's going to come on in and do an interview with me. So I'm very excited about that. Uh, he was very gracious. He says he didn't think he'd be interesting to talk to, but if anybody watches the Coast to Coast show like I do, and I do every Saturday pretty much, that was some BS because he's very entertaining. He has a lot to say, and quite honestly, and he also had for the record time, he had the best background of any tuber, which I hear rumor has it that background might be coming back, maybe just in time for that interview. We're going to cross our fingers. I'm crossing my fingers on that because I would love to see I would like to see the background back. And David knows what I'm talking about. I know I got such a boring ass background. I mean, you guys get to see my ceiling fan right there, right? And that's pretty exciting, I guess. Um, but Yeah, so that's what's going to happen in May. I got some people already that have already confirmed. Just a just a rumor. That's right. It isn't true until you see it on what is it, TMC, TMX, uh, I forget the Harvey Levin show. So we do got some pretty interesting guests. We sent out some invites. We're gonna see who wants to come on. I'm I got some confirmations, but I'm gonna hold those a little closer until we get closer to the end of the month. But I just want to let you guys know that's what's going on. We're gonna be doing a community centered month in May. Though we do have some special guests. We'll be talking to Paul Green, actor, singer, songwriter Paul Green, who stars in When Calls the Heart, and he's a leading man for Hallmark Channel, so he does a lot of Hallmark movies. And yes, you guys know I like Hallmarks because I can't go on horror alone. I just can't do it. So Paul's going to be here talking about his career. He just released a brand new record that he has out. He just had a baby son that he just had with his wife about a couple of months ago now. By the time we get to him, it'll probably be 2 months, I think. So we'll be talking to him on May 7th. That's going to be a Saturday afternoon. And then I also got another director named Rich Ragsdale that will be coming in, and he just released a brand new film with Jeff Fahey and Scout Taylor Compton called The Long Night. So we will be talking to him about his brand new film that just came out this week on Will Go USA. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I mean, yeah, either that or get better lighting to show off my closet, so you guys can all have a good laugh at that. I will go ahead and tell you what's coming up the rest of the month. I know some of you guys already know this, but some of you may not, so I got to read it off anyway. So this ends the second week of April. So the big news is on the 10th. On the 10th, the IFC Midnight Nights are back. They are back. A little different lineup. Unfortunately, The Night Watch Zone is very, very busy, as you see. They got all sorts of things going on, including the Lethal Collective and whatnot. So me and Ben, we drafted a guest night in Mary Wilson, and we will be back on the 10th of April on Ben's channel, and we'll be talking about the film Relic. So that will be this Sunday on the 17th. It's going to be the same format. It's going to be once a month. In May, it'll probably be the last Sunday in May, and I will be hosting that then. But Ben Cadaver Club will be hosting the show this Sunday, and it's going to start at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. Yes, I heard. I'm actually watching it tonight. As soon as this interview is over with, I'm going downstairs and watching it. I know it's going to be really good because Horrific Nightmares JM saw it, and it really shook him, and that's a really complimentary sign, because that guy has seen just about every and all types of horror movies. So when he said that movie shook him up, I knew it was going to be a great movie. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, was that a tough movie for you to watch too, David? Was that a little tough? I do know the subject matter. Hi, Jamie. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, Jamie. I've heard that it's a great movie, but it's a sad watch. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why David's coming onto the show right there. If you have any questions about why, that sentence right there. That's my man right there. David, we need to make you into an ISC night. You need to come do that show with me and Ben. Seriously. It's once a month. It's like an hour and a half. You should come on here and do that with us. I'm watching the movie tonight, Jamie, after our interview with Franklin's over with. Yes. Well, if you know what, I'll ping you on Instagram as soon as this is over with. Mary Wilson is coming in to hang out with us on Sunday, but I don't see why you can't either. So yes, I want you to come out and do Sunday with us, since you've already seen the movie as well, and then you could just join the panel permanent. That would be really exciting. And it's like I said, it's only an hour and a half a month. We're only doing one show a month. So yes, I will get with you on that. I did too. I'm not gonna lie. I can't be an A24 hater. There are some of their movies that I do like Cut Bank. I liked the potential of Climax. I thought the first half of Climax was really interesting, and then it just ran off the road. Semi-permanent, yeah. I mean, like I said, we only do one show a month. It's not like every week, and it's not like hours and hours and hours. It's just, but yeah, I love the concept. I love covering the films. ISC's just got some fantastic films. I know, Jamie, you like X was fantastic. All right, so everybody, let's put our hands together and let's welcome our guest. This is Franklin Correa, and welcome to 8 Questions With. Greetings.
How are you?
So,
can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. How are you?
All right. I'm good. How are you, man? Is it raining over there?
We got the sprinkles so far. It's definitely
raining all.
Yeah, we got sprinkles, but nothing heavy yet. Just cloudy and cold.
Yeah.
And, so welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. We have a lot to talk about. Because you are definitely a maverick. And I'm not saying that because you sold 2 of your films to Maverick Entertainment, but I'm saying that because you really are a Maverick. The types of movies that you make and release are quite different from most people that we talk to here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But I do have one question for you right off the bat, because I just got to get this out of the way. Have you ever made a movie for less than $220?
$220?
Yeah. Have you ever made a movie less for $220?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We're gonna now. Oh yeah, I should put that in there. And you released it, and you released it, right? People bought it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's called. It's on Tubi TV. It's called Thug.
You know what? You just won the Brett Kelly Award for filmmaking. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know who Brett Kelly is, but you just won the award for that. He is a Canadian. He's a Canadian filmmaker who made a movie called Ouija Shark. He made it for $220.
Wow, Ouija Shark. What? Yeah, I already know. That's like an asylum type movie.
You know what? You know what? You know what? Jeez, I can't really tell you, Franklin. If that's a really
what I mean Ouija Shark is kind of like a Sharknado type thing.
No, it's no Sharknado. It's no. You have to see it. It has to be experienced. Jamie, I'm glad you didn't become Spider Girl. Yeah, you got that nasty bite, but you didn't become Spider Girl. So that's what I was thinking of before while I was waiting for you to get here. I'm thinking, you know what? I wonder if he's actually made anything less for $220. Because that's been the record low of anybody I've known that has made a movie and actually got it released.
Actually, it was 175. I spent around $175.
Man, that's yes, Ouija Shark. Oh my gosh. Hold on, Franklin. I got to do this for for everybody here, including yourself.
No problem.
Yes. Star-Lord is asking if this Ouija Shark is real. Star-Lord, Ouija Shark is very, very real. And it has to be seen to believed. I'm going to drop the trailer inside the chat. So while you and I are doing our prelims here, we'll provide entertainment for our chat here. Hi, Echo. So this is the trailer for Ouija Shark. And I'm sure I'm either going to hear a lot of laughter. People are going to be sitting there they're going to be they're going to be laughing. They're going to be telling me to jump off a cliff, or they're going to run away from the chat room. We will see. Look, Franklin just bailed on us. He must have seen he must have already seen it. Come back, Franklin. Come back. Oh, Mo. No. Okay, I think I froze my own self out here. Let me Yep, I did. I froze myself out.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I thought maybe you'd already seen the trailer, and you're already saying, "Oh, hell no, I'm pulling the chute on this."
I'm gonna wait until after tonight, and I'm probably gonna try to watch it. Lord have mercy.
Oh yeah, you know what? If there is a God, you better pray for him to have mercy for Ouija Shark. That's for sure. We have actually made that movie a damn cult favorite here in our community. We have talked about that movie far more than it deserves to, but we love it. Tell you the truth, we do. We end up loving it.
There's another one. There's actually another one called that actually it's coming out soon. It's called Amityville Shark. Oh, Lord have mercy.
See, I just talked to an actress yesterday who's doing a movie called Amity House Shark.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there. And there's another one called Amityville Bigfoot.
Yeah. How many Amityville movies are there? And have you done an Amityville movie?
Never, and I never will.
Well, I mean, marketing wise, I mean, it does seem like people love those movies. I mean, gosh, there's probably about 30 or 40 of them out there. But why wouldn't you make? Why wouldn't you do it?
Because like those are like tongue-in-cheek type films, and I mean, I do no budget filmmaking, but I don't do tongue-in-cheek. You know, I love trauma. Don't get me wrong, I love trauma. I grew up on trauma, but I couldn't do a movie like that where it's like just ridiculous. I couldn't do it now. You know, killer dildos or whatever. I cannot do those type of films, man.
Yeah, Amityville Dildo. Yeah, I've heard about that one too. Um,
It's too
the only
many of them.
thing, I mean, the only thing that gets me about those movies, is the fact that they're treading on an event that happened. That was very tragic, and that was the murder of the Defoe family. Because
Mhm.
because that movie got famous for that, and the the paranormal aspects of that film, it became famous. The book, the
Mhm.
movie, or whatnot. And I don't know. There's something that seemed to be going off just a little bit. I watched a couple of Amityville movies. I watched a really good one, actually. I watched one called The Dawn. Um, that was pretty good. Um, I watched another one called The Unspoken. That was really good. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, there's been some decent ones, but it's still that back of your mind. You're thinking like these folks are basically marketing a town where a really infamous murder happened, and they're marketing,
Exactly.
and that's a little bit. It's a little bit disconcerting, a little bit.
Yeah, they're just trying to market their film to make money. So they're
Right.
like, what can we do to make money fast and do something cheap and stupid? Oh, let's cash off of the Amityville house, or let's cash off of the Exorcist or something like that, and they'll just come up with you know like Veloso Pastor or something stuff like that. Like Lord,
Not, not, the Velocipaster is life, though. Have you seen that movie?
I couldn't make it through the first 20 minutes.
No,
I could
Franklin.
not. Listen, I like when it comes to ninjas. I take that serious. I don't. You can't put ninjas in
In
no.
China,
I mean, it
you
was
can't put. I thought, how are you getting ninjas in China?
ninjas in China. A pastor that becomes a velociraptor. Like
I, I
Lord,
I love that movie. That movie's so much fun. It's so crazy. David says he's working on a script for The Conjuring of the Last Amityville Shark Exorcist.
what in the what? You know what? You know what's funny? He's gonna sell. What? He's gonna sell that. I
You know
guarantee it.
what? I guarantee you too. I hope he's copywriting the name even as we speak. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so let's circle back and let's get this chopped. Let's go. This is actually this is already we're already 10 minutes into this interview and I'm already digging it so much. It's so much fun. Um, but let's go back. Let's circle back to your beginnings and
Sure.
let's where were you born and raised at? Raised in?
Well, I was born in Newark, New Jersey, and was raised in the, I guess, what you would call the inner city, quote unquote. So I grew up in a multicultural area, which was predominantly black and Hispanic, but there were, it was a mixture of Italians and Irish there as well. But they, descended and moved out, throughout the years and stuff like that. But you know, grew up in a, to me it was a, home. I still go back there and visit all the time. It's different, but uh, yeah, I'm proud to be what they call a Nicky Norker.
A Nikki what?
Nicky Norker.
What's that?
Nicky Norker is somebody who's born and raised in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we have people up here in Michigan. They call them Yoopers because they're from the Upper Peninsula, so it's known as they're known as Yoopers. So I get it. Um,
That's
so New Jersey, then. I mean, has that have always been your home?
not really. Uh I lived in Texas from I was a bad kid. Let's just say that. I was a bad kid, so my parents sent me to live with my aunt in Fort Worth, Texas. So I lived there for about a year, and when I turned 17, I came back home because I was homesick. But I regret coming back after all these years. I do regret coming back, and I also lived in Miami for 6 months, and then I had to come back home because I ran out of money and couldn't find a job. So yeah, those are the two places. Those are the main two places that I actually lived at. But other than that, it's always been Jersey.
Now Jersey's home though for you, right? I mean, you made your peace with where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, I plan on moving to Texas, back to Texas in maybe like a year or so, because the entertainment industry is becoming bigger out there, and it's cheaper to live. Like New Jersey, California, and New York are like the most expensive states to live in. So, you know, I'd rather move down there. The climate's better, better atmosphere, and just to get away from everybody, start fresh.
Sure, I get that. I do. Uh, they're coming up with more titles for the new epic. Now we got Last Amityville Shark Exorcist by a ninja in China.
Lord.
Oh my God, that's just too funny. So how old were you when you first got the inkling that this is something I mean, were you always a creative? You mentioned you're a bit of a now when you say a bad boy, did you mean just like you were looking for a little direction, or were you like getting in
No,
trouble? You get in trouble with
yeah,
John Law?
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, and I had my little turn where I was doing bad things, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't sugarcoat anything. So yeah, I sold drugs for a while, and once I got caught, you know, they gave me the opportunity to either, you know, go to jail or, turn myself around. And I wind up turning myself around, and never looked back after that. After that, I never looked back again. And that's when I got more focused in the martial arts, and you know, that's what kept me on the straight and narrow, basically.
So yeah, so you got to learn discipline and self-respect and direction. I mean, so yeah, so basically what happened was you just got a little scrape, you weren't. I mean, they realized that because cops, even as much as we talk shit about them sometimes, but a lot of cops and even judges or whatnot, they can actually look and they can see the psychology of a person they're talking to, and they know someone who actually is going to be serious about changing their life, and maybe they just need that little bit of firm hand on the back of the neck, going like, hey, maybe you don't want to go down that alleyway. So when they talk to you, they probably saw you that you're a good kid. You just needed a little bit of guidance.
Yeah, they,
Because
they they actually put me in the challenge program. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
it's like a diversion program, isn't it?
Yeah, basically it's a National Guard program in the military for to take kids who are adolescents that are getting into too much trouble, can't focus in school, and they teach them basically the military way of be going to school, getting up early, training, working out, whatever. And that didn't work for me. So when I came back home, that's when my mother said, "You know what? That's it. I'm sending your ass to Texas." And that was it.
Yeah, she must have been scared for you. She was
Yeah.
scared. Yeah. Um, David's asking what disciplines are do you practice as far as your martial arts go?
I cross trained in a lot of stuff, but I've always went back to ninjutsu. So um, after training from 12 to now, I've been I hold a fifth degree black belt in ninjutsu, not bungee kan, ninjutsu. You have bungee kan, which is mat haki hatsumi. I have nothing to do with them. They're a different lineage. I don't want to shoot nobody down, but they're nothing of what I do.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah.
So during martial arts, I mean, you were still doing that. Did you start picking that up in Texas or New Jersey?
Well, I started in New Jersey, and I was fortunate enough to train with some of the greatest people ever, and I'm still under my teacher as right now. Um, But you know, when I went to Texas, I actually trained with one of the pioneers of karate named J. Pat Burleson, who was one of Chuck Norris's best friends. And you know, I trained with him, got my yellow belt, and then I came back to New Jersey and went right back to ninjutsu. So you know, just it was just there for me. It was always there for me. So
Well, I'm glad I kept you out of trouble. I mean, you know, I'm glad your mom, you know, I'm glad your mom said, you know, okay, so let's just get you out of here for a minute, change your environment, let you grow a little bit, mature. And, you know, and that probably really helped you as far as your creative side too, right? I mean, did you start feeling creative, you know, like, did you feel like, you know, like this is maybe you wanted to do something with your gift, you know, something to be a writer or, you know, or making films. Did that happen to you down in Texas? Because it didn't seem like it would
no,
happen to you.
actually, to be honest with you, when I've always wanted to be an actor, like since I was like 5 years old. It was either I want to be a cop, believe it or not, I want to be a cop or an actor. And I was so focused on Chuck Norris is my idol. So as soon as I saw this guy, this American guy whose real name is Carlos, and I found out his name was Carlos, and it blew my mind. And I said, okay, I want to be like this guy. I want to do martial arts, and I want to be on TV. And I've always wanted to do that. And I got picked on till I was about 18, 19 years old. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it on my own. And went out, started doing it at the age of when I came home from the military. I started going really, really hard with it at 21. So yeah, so it's been I'm gonna be 44. So it's been 23 years I've been going hard at it ever since.
Um, what drew you to it? I mean, what did you? I mean, you said you want to be an actor when you were 5. I mean, how old were you when you decided when you started? You put together your first creative project. Were you a writer first, or you know, how did you learn about film and cameras and stuff like that?
Okay, so what happened was, like I said, when I was 21, I started doing all going on cattle calls, um, extra. I used to do extra and bit parts, and the thing was that I did them for a bunch of movies, bunch of big movies like War of the Worlds, The Dark Knight. Um, there was Law and Order SVU on TV, and I never got paid. I would write down my name on the cattle call sheet, and supposed to get paid $100 in the mail. Never got paid, so I said, "Damn, man, this is crazy." And then I met this guy named Thomas J. Churchill, who they call him the Godfather of independent horror, and he changed my life. He said, "Listen, man, look at this guy, Robert Rodriguez. Here's his book, Rebel Without a Crew, and here's this book called The Journey of Screenwriting. Take these two books; they will change your life. I guarantee you." He's like, "You have a great look to you," and he goes, "I know for a fact you're gonna go places." And lo and behold, I never looked back. I read Rebel Without a Crew. It changed my life, and I said, "You know what? I'm tired of getting typecasted as a cop, a rapist, a drug dealer, a hoodlum." I was like,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna make my own movies like Robert Rodriguez. He made it for about $7,000, $6,999. I'm gonna make my own movies, and I'm gonna basically brand myself as an actor filmmaker, and that's what I did. And I never looked back since. So about 2000, we'll be in we're 2022. So since 2000, I've been going hard.
You said a magic word in that. You said a magic word in that in your answer. Care to guess what it is?
I said a magic word in my answer.
We're
I
friends
went
with
hard.
we're friends with Thomas too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
Tommy's a good guy, man.
yeah,
I
he's
knew
been
him
on
when he
the
was in Queens. Now he's out in California.
yeah, he did the show. He's been on the show. Uh yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
he's back.
Thomas Churchill is a one of a kind guy. He is yeah, he's awesome. He's a good human being. Uh
Yeah.
that's cool. It always amazes me, Franklin, how small this you know how small you think of acting and entertainment. It's just like you think this whole humongous world, and then you talk to the one person you didn't even think about, and next thing you know, you find you have something in common. It's really crazy. I think
Yeah,
the Kevin
yeah,
I think the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation. I really believe
yep.
that's a real thing. I really
Mhm.
do. Uh,
Exactly.
so uh, yeah, man, we'll have to give a shout out to Thomas right here. Shout out to Thomas. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll let him know that I talked to you. That is fun as hell. That's
yeah,
amazing.
I actually went in his group. He owns a group on Facebook called TV Conventions, Horror, Sci-Fi, uh, Cons or something like that. And I did a big paragraph sometime last year, right before I had my heart attack, and I gave praise to him. I said if it wasn't for Thomas J. Churchill, I would have never been where I'm at right now. And you got to give credit where credit is due, because if he would have never told me about River Without a Crew, the book, and never gave me that other book about how to write a screenplay, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I probably would still be hustling, trying to be an actor, doing background work and living off of background work like most actors do. And you know, him meeting him changed my life. Like I remember when he had a little office about as big as my living room, and him and his wife were running Churchill Productions out of a basement office down the street from Shea Stadium, the old Met Stadium, and call it. Yeah, I mean, the guy took off with his movie Devoured. Well, actually, it was called. I think it was called something else before. It was called. I forgot what it was called. System of a Down. It was called System of a Down, and he changed the title and got it on Netflix. And next thing you know, he took off and he started working with horror icons, and moved it from North Carolina to Hollywood, and he's never looked back, and he's still doing movies to this day.
Yep, yep. This yeah. But look at his. What we call there's a thing in sports it's called a coach's tree, right? And a coach's tree is basically you get one coach, like a Dean Smith, and then from that one coach, uh, you see all the other assistant coaches he's had, and then as the years go on, you'll see them go on and do their own thing. So out of
Mm-hmm.
they'll coach their own programs. So at the end of the day, you look at the tree and you see there's Dean Smith and there's like 30 other coaches that he's influenced. So look at
Exactly.
yourself as being like a Thomas Churchill tree. But let's see what you've
Yeah.
done with that. So Thomas gave you those two books. He changed your creative life around. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what was the first thing that you did as far as that goes? Did you write a screenplay first, or did you just start experimenting shooting with your? How did you get your camera? That's what I should ask first. What was your first?
Well,
What was your first piece of equipment?
okay. So I really didn't know. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. So I had a friend that was actually one of my martial arts brothers was actually making his own film production company up, and he was like, at that time, he let me borrow his what was it, Canon HV30 or something like that, and it was a little camcorder, and he said, here, it has a mic that you can attach to it, and you shoot your own movies. So I I did a couple shorts. I worked with this one guy named Brian Jude, who wound up financing my short film called The Last Days of Frank White, which was loosely based on my life as a drug dealer. And then he introduced me to another guy named Jeremiah Kemp, who was working with Larry Fessenden on this short movie called The Pod, which I was a production assistant for. And then I said, okay, well, I made one short film. Let me make another short film. And I did Thug, which started off as a 20-minute movie, and then people watched it and said they loved it, that I should make it into a feature. So I made it into a feature, but I never put it out. And since I still had the camera, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make a feature film. So my first feature film was called Flash Drive, which I just re-released the director's cut for on Tubi TV as of today. So
Oh, okay.
and I just released it on DVD. I released it on DVD January 24th. That just passed. I'm sorry, February 24th that just passed. So that was my very first movie, and that budget for that movie was $5,000 out of my own pocket, working as a professional cook in Jersey City.
Okay. $5,000. See that now that's a good question. We could say right. We can talk about that real quick. You mentioned before about no budget. Like you run a Facebook group called No Budget Filmmaking, and you said that there's movies that can be made. A no budget film is between zero money to $10,000, and a micro budget movie is $10,000 to, I guess, the low low budget. 20,000. What is the difference between the two, between micro and no? Because it both looks like a very little amount of money.
Exactly. That's what it is. It all comes down to money, because no budget filmmaking is anything under $10,000. Micro budget or shoestring budget, that's two different terms they use. Micro and shoestring would be like 11,000 to 20,000, and then from 20,000 all the way up to 10 million is considered low budget. So the reason why you have different but we're all independent filmmaking. That's all independent filmmaking. The thing is that there's different branches. Like you were just talking about the coach tree. So you got independent filmmaking, and then right here would be no budget, micro budget, low budget.
Wow.
And underneath all of them will be, big budget motion pictures, Hollywood motion pictures.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, when people say $10 million is considered low budget, that's really hard to grasp, because $10 million, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But under $10,000 is also crazy, but I know it can be done. I know it has been done. And there's many examples out there of movies that are being made for under 10 grand.
Oh, yes.
I guess for you, I mean, you made your first two shorts, and you made the one for $5,000. Now, did you write those as well? Did you start screenwriting first, or did you, did you try to write your own screenplay first before you shot a film, or did you shoot somebody else's screenplay to gain experience?
No. Well, after meeting Tommy Churchill, he told me, hey, take this book, the screenwriting book. Learn everything in there, how to make your own movie and how to structure your own film as a screenplay. And he said a screenplay is basically just a story of whatever you come up with on paper, so everybody can know what to say. And I was like, okay. So I read that book, and then when I read Rebel Without a Crew, I called Tommy up and I said, all right, I read both books. What do I do? He said, don't wait for Hollywood to come knocking on your door. He said, use your brain and start writing scripts. He goes, do a couple shorts as practice first, but after like 3 shorts, there's no money in shorts. So after 3 shorts, move on and do a feature. So I did one short. I did the Last Days of Frank White, and then I did Shell Shocked, where I played a PTSD military guy with PTSD. And then I did another short, which was Thug, but that got made into a feature. And I did, I was like, you know what, I gotta go on, I gotta make something. So I made flash drive, I sent it to Tommy, and Tommy said, hey, this sounds good. Why don't you just do it? Do it on your own. It shouldn't cost you that much. You still working? Are you still cooking and working? I said, yeah. And he was like, all right. So I said, you know what? He said, you can make something cheaper than this. I'm telling you. So I went and instead of doing flash drive first, I did my very, very first my very first feature film was called The Prey. And it had to do with the Wendigo. You know what the Wendigo? You live in Michigan. You know what the Wendigo is.
Oh, yeah, I know the Wendigo, yeah. In fact, they just put out a film about it called Antlers.
Awesome movie. I loved it. Loved it. Wish it was a little longer, but loved it. And basically, I based my movie, The Prey, off of the movie Ravenous, and also a movie with Michael Dudikoff called Avenging Force, which is basically kind of like the movie Surviving the Game with Ice-T. So basically, these high-class guys are hunting these 2 guys in the woods, which is me and another guy, because they believe in the Wendigo, and they believe if you eat the flesh of another man, you absorb strength and power. So basically, they're hunting us in the woods to eat us, not just kill us for sport. And I shot that with a friend of mine at that time named Bill Willis, and we did that film for $4,200.
Nice, nice. Now, did you
And
edit it yourself, or did you have to? Did you do everything by your own, or did you hire an editor?
well, that's where most of the money went. $1,000 of that went to special effects, and another $1,000 went to an editor. And then the rest of the money was like food and gas and stuff like that, and transportation for some certain people and stuff.
I think your friend John's here. John Picos.
Oh, John Picos. I haven't talked to John Picos in about a year and a half.
Well,
I haven't talked.
I think that's good about ready to end because he's in the chat and he's saying hello.
He actually edited my film Manhunt for me. He actually helped me shoot it as well.
He's
John
saying
Picos is a really good guy. Really good guy.
Good guy. He says shorts are harder than a feature. Right, you have less time to tell the story. Sometimes you can bloat shorts into a feature. You know what? What do I got? Yeah, I guess in theory you could do that. I mean, you could bloat a short into a feature, but the key word in that is bloat. If you don't have a story that you can stretch out to an hour and a half, an hour and hour and 20 minutes, then I would not do that. But there's been a lot of short films that I've seen that could easily go feature, very much so.
Well, there was a couple of that were already. There was a movie called Lights Out that was based off of a Dutch 2-minute horror film, 3-minute horror film. There was the Oculus. There was a movie called Oculus that was based off of a 10-minute short film turned into a feature film. Mirror Mirror with Kiefer Sutherland was based off of a short was a short film that started off as a feature film. And the science fiction movie Kin started off as a short film and got made into a feature film. So there are films it can be done.
Yeah. If you
can stretch out, if you got a good story, a good base, you can stretch that out and make a good story out of it. But a lot of shorts, they just do them. A lot of people don't realize that shorts were started off just for practice. They were just calling cards for directors. You know what I mean? And now people are trying to capitalize off them. But the thing is that
it's hard. I don't know how you. To me, it's a short film. Exactly what you said. It's to train. It's to train. You learn your craft that way.
Correct.
I mean, there's nothing more scarier than to see a first-time screenwriter director get handed the feature. Because that you have to hold your breath. It's not very many can do it. I mean, I've seen a handful that can and have done it, but I've also seen a lot more that haven't done it. What did you think for the first time when you actually were out? When you said action for the first time as a director, what was going through your mind?
I was scared as shit. I was sweating profusely. I really didn't know how to do. I didn't know any type of fight choreography. I just knew how to fight. So I was just like, so we were actually hitting each other for real. And I was like, damn, man, people are actually getting hurt. I'm kicking people with steel-toe boots on and everything. It's like, it's a learning experience. But, then you go back and then you watch everything and then you kind of learn from your mistakes. So that way, the next time you do your next film, you'll be like, okay, well, the last film I did this X, Y, Z this way. I know not to do that anymore. Now I know that I should do it this way instead of that way. And I can't be as lenient as I was with the first film. I have to be more stern with people because you want people to respect you, but at the same time, you want to have fun at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. It could be, yeah. See, that's the perfect thing with shorts, and that's one of the risks you do when you do a short with no budget too. You ask your friends to come out and help you, and they don't see you switching over from Franklin the friend to Franklin the film director.
No,
it's a little bit. They're like, it's like they don't understand how seriously you're taking this, and
Exactly.
until you tell them.
Mm.
So yeah. Now after you worked with your friends for the first film, did you do that again, or did you go out and do your first auditions?
Well, for my short films, I did my I did it with some of my friends, but when I switched over to doing feature films, I was going on Mandy.com, New York castings, and also using Facebook to cast my movie. And you know, it was a learning process, but you learn your right from wrongs. But um, soon as I moved on from the short films, I never looked back, and like I started studying and learning how to cast, and looking for being more how can you say more picky with what I more picky with what I'm looking for, so I get the right person for the job, and not just anybody who can just walk, any Joe Schmo that walks through the door. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Did you do all your casting yourself, or did you talk to, or did you, because when you were doing your background work, you probably met a lot of casting directors. And did you ask Thomas about casting? Did you ask him for advice about how
Yeah,
to?
yeah, most definitely. I asked Tommy. He was actually the one who actually told me about New York castings, and he told me about the Mandy.com. Uh, there was also what was the other one I was using? Craigslist at the time for
Hmm,
put I was singing. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I met some
it's
people
like
up there.
that's a whole
Yeah,
movie in all in itself.
yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I met some characters off of Craigslist, but he
Sure.
told me at the time, he was just like, listen, use that, and if you need any help, get somebody that can help you. Because at that time he was living in North Carolina, and so I had people who were actually actors who were in the business like a little longer than me, and I had them help me out by finding actors and actresses and stuff like that, and then going to check the studio in New York City and renting out a room, and you know, trying to look more professional instead of like having people come to your house. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Sure, I get that. Um, I mean, you can definitely tell by your voice and mannerism that this is very serious to you, and you have a lot of passion about it. It really comes through in your voice. Um,
I appreciate that.
so now, do you like to write? I mean, it's writing. I mean, or let me go back. Did you like the casting, or would you rather prefer to leave it to someone else? Like you tell them this is a person I'm looking for. You give them a framework, and then you do it, or give it to the casting director, or do you feel like you need to be hands on with that?
I think that everybody should be hands on with it because, um, you know, I know that you know as well that sometimes you get casting directors or somebody to help you do the casting, and then they find you people, but then when you see that person, either you're not going to get along with them because of their attitude, or they don't have the right look that you're looking for, and they don't fit that criteria that you wrote down for a certain character. You know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, but I said I wanted a black guy that's 6'1", 200, 250 pounds. You gave me an Indian guy who's 5'9", 150 pounds. It's two different, things. Oh, but he was a better actor. That's not what I asked you. What I asked
Right,
you is to find me what I want. And because that person might not be a good actor, but they have the look that you want. So you, as a director and as a filmmaker, can bring the actor out of them. And who knows? They might become one of the best actors you've ever worked with. They might be scared at first because they never done it, and they say, "This is my first time doing this. I've only done extra work and cattle call," and they're nervous. And you go, "Look, man, look, I'm gonna take a chance on you. I'm gonna give you a thing, but do what I tell you. That's all." And they're like, "Yeah." And that happened with a couple people that I hired, and I actually worked with a UFC fighter on one of my films, and he only did one short. He was nervous, even though he's a he's a champion, UFC champion. He whatchamacallit was nervous when it came to acting, so I had to pull it out of him, and I was just like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you my all. I'm gonna give you my all." And you know what? He wind up coming out, and I said, "Just be yourself." And he was just himself on camera, and it worked off naturally and beautifully.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. See, I get that. That's directing too. When you work with somebody, come on, you could do this. You got to give them a little bit of confidence, and you could talk to him like that too, because honestly, he's been talked to like that his profession. His whole fighting career. So you felt confident you could go up there and just say, hey, I know you're better than this, so let's bring it. I know you're better than this. I have confidence in you. You're here because of your ability. You're not here because I want you to be. You're here because your ability got you here. Now let's work together. So I get that. Now talk to us a little bit about the Thug. You mentioned that you mentioned that movie a couple of times. And you stretched that into a feature. Did you feel any trepidation about doing that? Did you feel a little nervous, because you would have to go back and rewrite it? Now, what was that like to go back and rewrite a short into a feature?
Well, here's the thing. Thug had no script. We ad-libbed the entire movie.
Oh, you improv it, really? Wow. I've never heard anybody doing that.
Well, do you know that the first half of the first Iron Man was they had no script. They were just improving the whole movie for the first hour of the movie.
No, I didn't. Wow.
And there also was a man back. There was a movie. I'm sorry. There was a movie back in 1990. I think it came out, and it was the inspiration for Thug, and it was called Man Bites Dog. If you've never seen it before, you gotta go back and look.
I own a copy of it.
Oh, that I based Thug off of that movie because that movie had no script, and it was about a hitman being followed by that hires a camera crew to follow him.
Right.
So I said, why not do something like that? That would be fun, and that's what I did. I got one of my actor friends and said, listen, I want you to follow me with the camera, interview me like you're, like an upcoming director going to film school, and you're doing this as a thesis. And then he was like, yeah, I can do that. And I'll play a drug dealer that lives like in an abandoned basement, sells coke, does coke, drinks all the time, and, doesn't really trust people. So basically, once you cross that line, he goes and he starts killing. He goes on he turns from a drug dealer into a fucking serial killer.
Right.
So my friend was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and we did it, and that it just happened and it worked.
Now do you find because you come from both sides, you've seen both sides of the coin. How do you make a movie like that without glamorizing it?
It's hard. It's hard because you don't want to offend anybody, and at the same time, you want to get your point across. And I just wanted to keep it as real as possible, and do the craziest things in the film that I can. So, I didn't want to glamorize any type of being a drug dealer or becoming a serial killer, you might say. So it was kind of hard not to do it, but I'm like, listen, in reality, you can't control nobody's intuition. If they watch it, they're gonna get their own perspective, and they're gonna go with whatever. Maybe if they want to believe one thing, they can believe it. If they think that I'm doing, if I'm glamorizing something or whatever, they can believe that. But in all reality, I know that it's make believe because it's storytelling, and that's it. I just took real life. I just took a part of my real life and brought it and bring it to camera and showed people who I was. Excuse me, as in that during those days, but in real life on film. And yeah.
John mentioned here he wants to know what's the release date for Devoured, and he's looking forward to seeing that.
Devoured is actually, I have 2 more scenes to do. It would have been released already, but unfortunately, like I told you last time, I had actually 2 heart attacks. But when I was gonna release Devoured, I actually had the massive heart attack, and I had to put that on hold for a while.
Yeah. I was going to talk to you about that. It sounds like to me you had the Widowmaker, right? You just survived the Widowmaker.
Yes, that's exactly what they called it, the widowmaker. I actually have 3 stents in my heart, and I have 1 in my jugular vein. So I
Uh,
can't work. I can't work anymore. Put it that way.
what was it like? I mean, were you shooting a film when this happened? Were you working in the kitchen, or how did it happen? And
Oh,
glad you survived for sure.
well, thank you. Well, the first one was scary because the first one I actually was sleeping and I woke up. Something woke me up, and I felt a sharp pain going down my arm, and I didn't I and my and like my stomach was hurting me for some reason, but I didn't know what was going on. So I was taking Pepto Bismol, and every time I took the Pepto Bismol and drank water, I would keep on throwing up everything. But every time I threw up, my arm would hurt more.
Mm.
So something told me that, I was like, something don't feel right. And I called the Uber. I ordered an Uber. I said, please take me to the hospital. If something's wrong, something's wrong. I got to the hospital and I collapsed. And you know, they had to rush me into the emergency, and then they told me, yeah, you got a widowmaker in you, and they was like, you're lucky you got here on time. And I was like, okay. And I was in the hospital for about 5 days, and then I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk from the first heart attack. So I had to walk with a walker throughout my house for 2 months. I couldn't walk straight. I had no energy in my legs. And that was the first one. And the second one, I had the second heart attack while I was taking a shower because unfortunately my insurance would not cover the medicine that I take, which is this right here, Berlinta. And they wouldn't cover my insurance wouldn't cover it because that's about $500 a month for a bottle, and they didn't want to cover it. You know,
Yeah, I
so
hate
I
you.
had the second heart attack, and that was the one where I actually died on the operating room table and didn't realize it until they told me when I was in the critical care unit that I was very lucky.
Wow. So they spotted it before, but I mean, did they want to operate on you after the first one, or did they just were they trying to just to manage it with just medication?
No, actually, I had the first heart attack. They put 1 stent in my heart, which was the widowmaker,
Okay.
and then the second time they didn't know if I was gonna make it. So basically, when I died on the operating room table, you can't see it now, but I had for the guy, they said for 15 minutes straight, the guy, my doctor, Dr. Bulat, was using oh my god,
Defibrillator.
the defibrillator. I'm sorry, yes, and he did it for 15 minutes. And if you would have saw me when I got out the hospital, I have hair on my chest, so all the hair and all the skin on my chest was like all charred
Yeah.
for so many times. And thank God for him, I wouldn't be here right now. So
And
you
they
know, I'm,
sort of put 3 stents in you and one in your jugular. Now that must have changed your whole creative outlook. You had to change your entire lifestyle. You couldn't be, you really couldn't be. You had to be real quiet. Basically, you had to be more thoughtful and more. Was that a big change for you? You know, because I'm sure you were a go-getter, a fire eater, so to speak. But now with this on, now you have to be more mellow, to be more smooth. I mean, because you don't want to get stressed out. Was that a big change for you, both in how you write your movies and how you direct them? Do you see the difference between pre-heart attack and after heart attack?
Yeah, yeah, because now I can't really do what I want. Like I have to like I have to keep telling myself that I'm not the same person anymore because um I can't like do like 3, 4 fight scenes in one day anymore. I only can do like 1 or 2 a day, and that's it. Like when we were filming my film, The Milano Effect, which I'm shooting right now, I did two 30-second fight scenes, which wind up being about half an hour to do two 30-second fight scenes. And I literally thought I was having a heart attack afterwards.
Mm.
And my actors were laughing, and I'm like, I'm trying to keep my composure, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, I'm doing a thing for Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, blah blah blah. You do whatever you gotta do to make it happen. And you hear them laughing in the back, and I'm like, as soon as I shut it off, I was like, what the fuck are you laughing at? I said, bro, I thought I was having a heart attack. I literally, my chest was like hurting. So I can't do that anymore. If I gotta.
Okay. Yeah, I think your days of in front of the camera, as far as action movies, I mean, you might be good as the big boss, like I want this guy rubbed out, but I think the days of you actually going out to do the rubbing out, it might be over with. You might be just become a full-time director now.
Nah, I'm not gonna give up. The way I look at it is like this: if Arnold Schwarzenegger can go and have a triple bypass surgery, and if Sylvester Stallone can go and have a heart surgery and still make movies, I could do it. I haven't been cut open yet. Knock on wood. I haven't been cut open yet. I don't have no pacemaker or defibrillator in me, so I'm good for right now. But I just have to keep
Yeah,
things
right now. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I like how you said that. For right now, But yeah, I would. Whew, that's a. I mean, I totally appreciate you making art and whatnot, but it's not worth dying over. It just is.
exactly.
And so it's until that happens, until they can fix your heart. And just I would just hell, just look at it this way. Now you can explore different avenues of your creativity, right? And now you're forced to adapt. I mean, that's one of the things movie directors and producers and actors and hell, anybody in their life has to do. They have to learn to adapt to their ability, you know?
Exactly. Hmm.
So talk to us a little bit about the Milano effect. I've been reading a little bit about that in the group. So talk to us a little bit about the Milano effect.
Well, the Milano Effect basically, usually, I'm the lead star, but now, like I said, after all this happened, I wanted the movie to focus on somebody else and let me, not be in the movie, let the movie focus on center on somebody else's character and let me be there for that character, but not be throughout the movie like that character is supposed to be. You know what I mean? So basically the Milano Effect is about a former engineer at NASA that gets contracted by the NSA to build a small satellite for them. And when him and his comrades find out about what they're using the satellite for, which is to, send down EMP signals, which is electronic magnetic pulse signals, to take out their enemies without hesitation, basically because when you send down an EMP, it basically it stops your heart and kills you instantly. And once they found out that they were using this to take out people that they felt was a threat to them, he went into witness protection, and he has 48 hours to turn state's evidence against them. But so I have to keep him alive for 48 hours because he went off the grid, and now everywhere he goes, they can see him because they monitor through traffic lights, security cameras, satellite imagery, and so anywhere he goes, they can see him. So, and the guy's name is Jerry Milano. So the Milano effect is whenever they use the machine, the Milano effect is when somebody dies automatically and there's no trace of them being killed. It
Wow.
looks like causes.
Right. Yeah, that's what EMP does. Yeah, you're right. It stops all electricity. So if you have a pacemaker or whatnot, yeah, you're dropping dead.
Yeah, you get hit like with like 1,000 microwaves all at once. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you don't even realize.
Uh that sounds like a really interesting story. Where did you come up with the idea?
Uh, well, one of my favorite films that I like to watch is The Bourne Identity. So, uh, I wanted to do something similar, and I wanted to do more of a thriller. I didn't want to do too much of an action. I wanted to do more of a suspense thriller with a little bit of action, and make it more story based. And so everybody, there's no like driving around. There's not that many. It's like everybody. It's like everything's fast paced, walking, trying to keep cover. From above and from any cameras, staying incognito, and staying alive until the end of the movie, because the NSA has hired a group of mercenaries to take this guy out and actually find out the password, that because he locked up the satellite. So now they need the password and they need him taken out before he could turn evidence against them. The
Well, see,
director of that.
I like the idea. I like the idea of the story, and I like the fact you're because most to me it's like when you have a micro budget or a below, most production companies will go to one location, and that's where they'll stay. They'll stay at that one little tiny location. They won't really go out there and do set action pieces or whatnot because they don't have the budget for it. But the fact of the matter is, if you're getting out there and you're doing it, I mean, on your limited budget, I mean, you're pushing the envelope for sure. I mean, and hats off to you for that. Um, how
Thank
is how easy is it for you to shoot in do you have a certain area you go and shoot at? Do you have to go get permits in New Jersey? I mean, have you come across any obstacles like that?
Yeah, at one time you needed permits, but the funny thing with New Jersey is that we kind of like mimic New York City. So if New York City says we're not, you can't shoot outside with a tripod, we can't do it. If you can't, have you can't be on a street, in the middle of traffic doing anything, but now you can do that. You know what I mean? As long as you're not interfering with traffic or holding up traffic, you're good. So they've changed the laws over the years. And so usually what I usually do is my landlord actually, allows me to shoot in my building. So I live in a building that's pretty big. It's about 120 years old. So we have him and his father own practically the whole block. So we shoot in my building. We shoot in the big parking lot behind my building. Also, there's a really big park by my house, which John Pico's helped shoot Manhunt at, and we shoot there, which is like the park itself is like 4.4 miles long.
Oh wow!
So we use different parts of the park, and also well, I never knew it was there, but now for Milano Effect we're using it. There's a sanctuary in a small town called Linden, that's like next to Rahway, New Jersey, which is like the water, the river. There's a river over there, and the reservoir, that sanctuary is like for birds and stuff like that. But it's small. It's about a mile long, and it's very peaceful. So you go there, nobody bothers you as well.
Oh, okay. We're talking about your we're talking about the whoops the okay. They're talking about your EMP device that you use for the Milano effect. It's EMP as a rail gun, and then John's missing like the rail gun from Eraser. Yeah, yeah. God, I forgot about that. That was a fun movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good.
yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, picture the big gun on a satellite being shot down from
right,
space to take out somebody real quick. You know what I mean? It's
right.
kind of like
Yeah. I'm sure. You know what? I'm thinking about it is though. It's like that sounds like science fiction, but you know what? It's probably more reality than we realize.
I
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised if they're not doing it now. To be
yeah,
honest
no,
with you.
no, neither am I. I'm thinking about that, and when they probably got shit like that in the Pentagon. They're probably, how that works, Area 51 and shit.
Exactly.
um, so, what's been your biggest challenge to you? What's the biggest thing that you've had to overcome? I mean, as far as your filmmaking goes. I mean, what's the biggest obstacles you've overcome and improved on? I mean, is there any part about your shooting that you would that you first you weren't really sure of, but now you're more confident in doing? I mean, are you working with lighting, the set scenes, locations? I mean, what part of that? What part when you first started out that's your most improved aspect of your directing game?
Okay, so when I first started out, I was trying to do everything like by Hollywood, rules and stuff like that. I was trying. You need a tripod. You need somebody working the camera for you. You need somebody to work to be a production assistant. You need somebody to find new locations, and that's how I was doing it in the beginning. But then, like I said, once I read once I started thinking about it, I said, hold up, I don't need to do all this because Robert Rodriguez did everything himself with him and his I think his like his cousin and one of his good friends. He had like a three-man crew doing El Mariachi. I was like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? So um I've always had that term where, run and gun. So run and gun, I don't like using a tripod too much. I like everything to be handheld because I feel like um when you holding something handheld, it makes the person feel like they're in the movie. It makes them feel like they're actually in the movie, not when everything's set flat on something and everything's still, whatever. The type of movies I make is like everything happens within 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. Within a week, not even a week. So I try to like keep everything fast paced and everything. I did have problems with running and gunning in the beginning because at that time cameras didn't have a really good stabilizer, and there was no programs out there that could help you stabilize your film. Now we have everything at my fingertips. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has everything at their fingertips. So even if you shoot a movie and you don't really want to have shaky camera, you can stabilize your footage with a $10 program or $20 program with no problem.
Wow. I mean, and I guess that enables you to create film, for under $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever spent $10,000. To be honest with you, like I think the most I've ever. I think honestly, to be honest with you, I think flash drive was probably my biggest budget. It was $5,000. Other than that,
how do you get your movies out to the public? I mean, physical media being what it is. I mean, and like you mentioned, you got one of your films on Tubi. How did you get your film on Tubi? Was that through
well,
Maverick Entertainment?
no. Well, Maverick put two of my films up on Tubi and then on all these other platforms and stuff like that. But what happened was, see, the distribution business is very is oh my god, it's so. I mean, the business itself is ridiculous, but the distribution wise, distributors are most distributors are they're out for themselves, and
Yeah.
they want to make money for themselves. They don't want you to make any money, so they basically they charge you like an overhead capital every time you sign up with them, and it's usually between $40,000 and $80,000, and with that, you have to promote the shit out of your movie. You have to promote the hell out of it and try to get your cast and crew to help you promote your film. So that way you guys can make the money, God willing. So that way you can start seeing some kind of income. But unfortunately, for a lot of filmmakers like myself, we don't get to see a dime of that money because they can always change up the numbers and stuff like that. We don't know what they're doing at the distributor at the distributor's office. You know what I mean? So like I'll give you an example, hypothetically speaking. Say one of my films, say I get a revenue report for my first 3 months, and it says my movie made $21,000, right? But
Right.
yet my overhead capital that they charge you is $40,000. You still owe them $19,000 before you can even see a dime.
Right.
Now, what happens? A year you sign your movie to the distributor for 7 years, which was basically the standard. So they own your movie for 7 years. So now you can't do anything with that movie. They're making money off your movie, and you're stuck like this. So for 19 years, I didn't see a dime of money off of any of my movies. And then I was introduced to a friend of a friend, and she actually is one of the head of acquisitions. She's actually the head of acquisitions for Tubi TV, and she saw my movie Thug and my movie Mistaken that we were talking about earlier, and she said, "Hey, I like your movies. I like what you're putting out there. I would love to put it on Tubi TV." And I said, "Okay." She said it's non-exclusive, which means that you can take your movie to anybody else and you can shop it around and sign with somebody else. But as long as they don't come to Tubi TV, we're okay. You know, we have the rights to put your movie on Tubi TV, Amazon Prime, and Zumo TV because we're all partnered together now.
Oh wow!
Because Fox actually bought Tubi TV last year.
Fox bought it. Okay.
Yeah. Fox owns Tubi TV, and then Fox partnered up with Amazon Prime and Zumo TV to have more of an outlet for the films. So, which everybody knows Fox is owned by Disney. So there you have it. It's crazy.
Disney's everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, Disney owns Tubi.
If you want to look at it like that, yeah, it's like the Tubi is just like a streaming provider. It's like their streaming provider. Like people say, "Oh, Tubi's doing exclusives, so they financing movies." No, Tubi is not financing movies. Tubi is the streaming provider. Fox is producing films, and Fox is the ones who put up the movie to finance whatever films, like, you know, the movie Swim, which is kind of like Sharknado, you know, Hellbender with Tony Todd and Adrienne Barbeau, aka Adrienne Barboobs. You know, these type of, you know, they're making these like cheesy movies because they know that they're gonna make their money back. You know what I mean? So, you know, but you know, Tubi doesn't have nothing to do with financing. So I was able to sign with them before they got bought out by Fox. So I'm good, because if you know what they're doing is they're cleaning up Tubi right now as we speak. Amazon Prime and Tubi are actually cleaning out everything, because if you go on Tubi, you'll see that there's a lot of short films on there. There's a lot of like web series on there that only have like 1, 2, or 3 episodes. So Fox is cleaning up everything, because what happened was when you the people at Tubi TV, whenever they sign a movie, they get a, you know, like a bonus for every movie they sign. So they were signing everything and anything just to get that money.
Amazon, it was like Amazon back in the day. You know, when Amazon first started out, they were doing the same thing.
Yeah. Now they're cleaning house on everything, and Fox is like, listen, if the movie's not making money, it's gone. All these short films, gone. All these web series that are not even completed, gone. Everything's gone. And Amazon was doing the same thing, and I was doing the same thing. And I remember I took a screenshot of the letter they sent me, and I put it up in a group 2 years ago. And I said, hey, look, Amazon's not playing. They're saying, look, they're not paying you 16 cents an hour anymore. Now they're only paying you, 3 cents an hour, and for every hour of your film. And if your movie's not making any money, it's gone. If your movie's not a feature film, it's gone. And people were like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, because nobody can make money off of fucking shorts.
No. Wow.
They need to see bread.
I know people have been talking to Tubi for a long time, and they have tons of films on there, but wow, I didn't know that they were. I didn't know they were owned by Disney, and I didn't know that they were going through there. So pretty soon it's just going to be just like it's probably going to be just more or less just like Pluto, right? It's going to just be mostly network shows and some of the bigger well-known movies and whatnot. But I mean, today you couldn't get a deal with Tubi.
It's a lot of people say how did you get a deal with Tubi? Like I said, it's through a friend of mine who was dating the head of acquisitions at Tubi. So that was me. I lucked out. It took 19 years for me to start seeing revenue. You know what I mean? 19 years to get my revenue. But now people are going through Film Hub, and Film Hub actually takes shorts and features and web series because they don't discriminate. I had actually a very good conversation with one of the people that work at Tubi a couple days ago, and they were telling me, "Hey, man, look, we really don't make money off of shorts, but we're an equal opportunity employer. We take everything, and it's not our fault if these other streaming platforms take the movie, because honestly, what they do is they look at the poster artwork, they look at the synopsis, and they look at what kind of genre it is, and then they say okay, and they buy it because everything's sold in a catalog. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, they don't even look at the running time. And then what happens is they put it on their platform, and then they get mad because it's only a 20-minute movie, 10-minute movie. But that's because they're buying in bulk, and they don't want to go through every single trailer. They're just taking what looks good by the poster, and that's it.
Wow. Okay, I hadn't heard of Film Hub, so I'll have to look into that. So Film Hub seems to be the new Tubi. That's really interesting.
Film Hub is like the new Distributor. Do you remember Distributor?
No, don't know that one.
Distributor was basically a platform where you could take your movie, and they would they would be like your aggregator, and they would try to get it on iTunes or Amazon Prime or Tubi TV or whatever. And they went out of business because they were doing the same thing. But Film Hub is probably going to be around for a while. But Film Hub is not like Tubi. They're just a third party aggregator that basically gets your film onto different platforms so you make money.
Yeah, it's hard to make money back on streaming, isn't it?
No, actually, I make some. I do well. This month was horrible. I didn't make that because it's all about promoting and marketing your film. If you don't promote and market, you're never gonna make money.
Right.
So, but with Tubi, since I've been with Tubi for a year now, every 2 months, I get my revenue. They'll send me they pay through Cash App or Venmo, whichever one you have.
Okay.
And they tell you, they said, listen, we're gonna congratulations, we picked up your films, but the only way you're gonna make money is if you promote and market your film. Tell people to go on Tubi and watch your movies, and that's how we make the money off of because Tubi is basically trying to be like Netflix, but there's still AVOD, which is advertisement video on demand. So I make money and Tubi makes money off of the advertisements. So you got a 70-minute movie on Tubi. They take that 70 minutes, and every 15 minutes they put a 1-minute commercial for Hyundai or Haagen-Dazs or whatever. And those little commercials that play throughout the movie for that 1 minute is what pays us both, Tubi and me.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I just
so you get to watch. You get to watch. I'm sorry.
I actually just watched my very first movie on Tubi a couple of weeks ago. I actually watched Phantasm. That was the first time I ever watched it. That's the first time I ever watched anything on Tubi. I did a nice job. I mean, there wasn't that many commercials on. I mean, they were polite about it. They weren't. You're right. They ran 2 commercials and back to the film. And it wasn't, wasn't that. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything more than. The thing about it is, it's like, they run ads, but what I liked about it is that they don't cut anything. They don't edit it.
Exactly.
It's like watching. Actual movie. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for the education. That was interesting. Well, I know a lot of folks here. A lot of folks here in the. I'm sorry. A lot of the folks in the chat are big. They watch Tubi too. And so okay. What do you oh gosh. Okay, I'll ask you a couple more questions here. So what do you like to do to relax? I mean, when you're not what's your writing process like?
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't written in a while. I feel I've gotten more into shooting my, believe it or not, shooting my films with no script whatsoever. I tell people what to say, and then we flow off of each other. We improv. So my last four feature films have been improv.
Okay. Now now these all actors that you got through auditioning part, or have you hey Ricky, uh yeah, I know it's 2:15 over in England. Thank you, sir.
Mm.
Look at your Instagram too, Ricky. I sent you a message. Um so, yeah, I was gonna say, are these actors that you're shooting all improv with? Are they all people that you cast? I know a lot of
Yeah,
actors they like to have a script, so
yeah. Believe it or not, a lot of actors like to have their, they're like, oh, so what's my sides? What's my sides? That's the
right.
main thing. What's my sides? And I'm like, no, we're doing a non-scripted movie. I'm gonna tell you what to say, and they're like, really? I've never done that before, and they're so excited to do something new that once they do it, because you're giving them creativity. You're letting them. I'm like, listen, just stick to the story. All right, just stick to the story, but you could say how you want it, how the way you want it. If you want to add stuff into it, you can, as long as you don't jump off of what the story is. Everybody has that story base. You got to stay within the story. And they're like, okay, and it works out. I mean, I'm an award-winning filmmaker from doing that. You know what I mean? My film Lyco uh won all the awards at the HBO Cinemax Urban Action Showcase, making me an award-winning filmmaker. And people were like, "Oh man, it felt so realistic," and I'm like, "Well, thank you." And they're like, you know, "How was it? How did you guys do that? Did you train with them for a long time?" And I'm like, "No, I just went on Facebook and said, hey, I'm looking for actors, no script," and they were like, "There." And then, hey, look at that, we turned something that people made fun of into an award-winning film, and I stuck with it. I said, you know what, this is my forte. Making films with no script, because it comes off more raw and more realistic.
Do you think you're going to try to do that more often, or is that just something you're experimenting with?
Well, I mean, like I said, my last four films, I've done it without no script. But I'm not saying that I won't do a movie with a script in the future, but because there are films that I plan on making that actually already have a script,
Okay,
and I don't want to change anything up. I don't want to change anything up on those scripts, because those scripts are like my babies. I don't. I want to keep everything that's in the script the way it is. So I will do movies that are scripted, but as of right now, I'm focusing on just doing movies that come off realistic and raw, and like, try to make it as realistic as possible and
sure,
keep it fast paced.
sure, sure. I'm welcome in, Fluff. Do you folks have any questions for our guest, Franklin Correa? If you have some questions for him and his process, please drop down a few questions in the chat if you have any questions. So, what do you like to do for fun? Are you married? Do you still cook? You mentioned you're a fine chef. Where did you learn to become a chef at?
I never became a chef. I'm a professional cook. That's the difference. Somebody who's a chef actually goes to school for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and then they go under a mentorship under a executive chef and learn the process. Me, I never went to school. For me, it's kind of like when you go to school for martial arts. You earn your black belt. You can't, you gotta go, you gotta train in order to earn that degree. That name, being a chef, you have to go to school and learn measurements and all the stuff to become a chef. So I never knew that. I actually always called myself I used to call myself a chef back in the day. But then when I worked under an executive chef, he goes, "Hey, listen, do me a favor. Did you go to school?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Do me a favor. Don't call yourself a chef, because it's very offensive to me. I spent a lot of time training to earn this title. And for you to come in and say you're a chef, you're not a chef. You're a professional cook, not a chef." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And I never ever changed that up again, because that's like somebody saying, yeah, I do martial arts. And you go, oh, okay. And so, how long did you study? Oh, I just, I'm a martial artist, but I just
I saw
dibble and
Bruce
dabble
Lee
here.
movie. Yeah, I saw Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I saw this on TV, and I trained. I took a 7-day class, and that makes you a martial artist. No, it takes years to call yourself a martial artist. So there's a lot. There's a bridge. Because I had an argument the other day with somebody because he calls himself. He said, I'm an executive chef. I said, bro, you work in a fucking tavern. You're a cook at a bar tavern. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, it took me years. No, listen, I've been cooking for a long time myself, but I don't call myself a chef because it's disrespectful. So I'm a professional cook, and yeah, I keep the cost down on my movies because I cater for my cast. I don't order no food out unless it's Domino's and we're on a run. Other than that, I always make food for everybody after we finish shooting.
Oh,
Come back to my house.
wow.
Yeah, and I cook for everybody.
You know,
And it
there's
shows
another,
appreciation.
there's another director that does that too. He makes a meal in his house too. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. A director named where's Casey at? Because I know I'm going to hear from Casey. His name's Mark Polonia, and he's a filmmaker out of the Midwest. And during his shoots, his wife will cook a meal for the crew, the cast and crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I actually think that's very cool. Starlord asks you a question. I says, do you
Sure.
like YouTube channels that do shorts, like Laser Unicorns, Robot Underdogs, Bat in the Sun, Amaletto?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you first.
It says, do you like YouTube channels that do shorts, like Laser Unicorns, Robot Underdog 2, Bat in the Sun? I don't know if that's all one. I think it's two. And then there's another channel, a very good channel called Amaletto, who specializes in top of the notch short films.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I have never in my life heard of any of those channels. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan on shorts. I don't. Listen. I want to get one thing straight. I don't hate shorts. I just think that once you do 2, 3, 4, no more than 5 shorts, you should be able to move on to a feature film. But the thing is that I feel like a lot of people, they get comfortable with making shorts and they just want to keep making shorts. But I'm not taking anything away from them. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. But if you really want to make it in this business in Hollywood and stuff like that, sooner or later you're gonna have to make a feature film, or you might just have the luck of the draw and have somebody like Michael B. Jordan or Scott Glenn or somebody see your short and go, hey, you know what? I want to finance that movie. That was cool. I want to make it into a feature. It's a 10% chance, maybe 0.1% chance, if that. But no, I've never heard of those channels, unfortunately.
He says that they do comic book and anime live action.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, sort of like Rogue Origins. Okay, yeah, there's a company called Rogue Origins that does that. They make these really short, intense 5 to 10 minute short films, and they take characters and they create. I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to one that's hopefully they're making another one even as we speak. I heard a rumor has it they're making another one. Okay, yeah, like short, like 10 minutes action films. It's
I saw one called what was it? Batman versus Deadpool, I think it was. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Deadpool. Batman versus I can't think of the guy's name. He looks like Deadpool.
Oh, Daredevil?
But he has no, not Daredevil. I think he's a DC guy.
Deadshot.
I can't think of what is it?
Deadshot?
I don't know. He's dressed all in red.
The red, maybe the Red Hood. Could be the Red Hood.
He looks like the Red Hood, but he has 2 swords and he has a bunch of guns on him.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. So I saw, see, I saw
comic book Fred. It says it's Killmonger. Oh, I haven't seen this.
Oh, Killmonger. That's based off the Black Panther, right? Or no?
Yeah, it wasn't him though. It was probably a Deathstroke. Did he have an eye patch on?
No. It was Deathstroke. It was Deathstroke with the two
Okay.
swords. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was Batman versus Deathstroke, and it was a 10-minute or 15-minute short, and it was. I mean, you could tell they spent at least 100,000 on that damn thing.
Wow.
But
Wow.
it's a fan.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up. It was amazing, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, I mean, you're spending $100,000 on a 10-minute movie, but these are people that have money to do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Would you consider?
and
Here's. I'll let you go out on a creative question. And then we'll let you go. How about this
sure.
one? How about this one? Would you consider doing a fan film? Like a fan film toward a horror franchise, like a Friday the 13th, or a Halloween, or Freddy Krueger, or what of that. Would you consider doing a fan film, or what's your opinion about them?
No, I honestly I wouldn't do it because I'm at a point in my career where I'm making feature films and that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I came into this business to do. But I don't. I've seen I've seen a couple fan films that were pretty good, but you know I scratch my head. I scratch my head and I say, you know, I see the Indiegogo campaigns and it's like, hey man, we're doing what was that Friday the 13th? There was a couple Friday the 13th ones that they did. One of them needed like $30,000 to make it. And the movie was like 30 minutes long, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was pretty good, but you know, it was like, damn, $30,000 for a 30-minute movie. But then what? But then I noticed that they went and they actually got the original Tommy. I forgot his name. He was in oh my God, he was in Return of the Living
Oh,
Dead Part 1 and 2.
okay.
You know,
Uh,
you know what I'm
oh,
talking about?
the original, the older Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
The Tommy from Jason Lives.
Yeah. That was. I know who you're talking about. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I know who you're
So
talking about.
exactly. So that guy, he's a good actor. They went and they got him to do a cameo in the movie. And I'm like, okay, so I know they paid him. I know they had to pay him off, but I'm like, but the whole movie was shot on a GoPro. So I'm like, where the hell did the $30,000 go? There's no really prosthetics. So I was trying to wonder, sometimes I think people just like ask for a amount, and I think a lot of people pocket money from their Indiegogo campaigns. To be honest
You
with
know
you,
what? I do
I don't,
too. I do
you
too.
know,
I, I I agree. I think that, I mean, some of those money they ask for, it's like, to me, it's like, man, I want to see. I don't, I guess it all depends how much money I would invest in it. If I put in, $20, I wouldn't care. It's like, I'm not going to sit there. But if I was a super fan and I put in like yeah, we need 25,000, and I put in like 1,000, or $2,000, I would really
hmm
like to. I really like to see the receipts about what you spent it on. Because I like to see, that, because I want to make sure that all the money that's there is on the screen. Tom Matthews.
Tom Matthews, yes, great actor. He was in one of my favorite movies, Blood Match. Love that movie.
Yeah, yeah. We're covering Friday the 13th on my Sunday show, and
Oh,
with my buddy, me and Al, we're the Midnight Society. Hey, that's a plug that wasn't planned. Midnight
yeah,
Society. Yeah, we're doing the New Blood this Sunday.
nice.
With your
I
with
love
your
Dixon.
permission,
He's from Jersey, so that's my favorite guy.
uh, with your permission, I'll post a link in the group if you like to.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Uh, Listen, I want to thank you for coming in and giving us an education, man. This has been a great interview, and I totally appreciate your generosity and you coming in on short notice. And yeah, when the Mulatto Effect comes out and is released, will you come back and talk to us?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. We actually should be wrapping up on April 24th because of the damn rain, But we should be wrapping up and going into post production at the end of April. So the movie should be ready to come out probably. during the fall. They should be ready.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
maybe
you have
even
to,
sooner.
yeah. I hope you come back. I want you to come back and talk to us about it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'll get I'll actually send you this when I make the official teaser or the official trailer. I'll actually send it to you.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us, Franklin. You've been a delight, and I want to thank the chat for coming out and hanging out with us too. And I will see you guys all next Sunday at 7:30. We'll be going to Cadaver Club's channel for the return of the ISC Midnight Nights. We are covering
Nice.
Relic. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Relic. So I'm hoping you guys will all come out. I will put a link to that show here. I'll put all your social media as well inside and down in the description box, including your Facebook group page that people can come by and check out. And,
Sure.
yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Hey, CV, you got here just in time for me to say goodnight. Yeah, we'll see you guys on Sunday. And until then, peace. Stay right where you're at, Franklin.
Take care. Thank you.